Thank you so much. You have joined our innovation talks. These are about 10-minute sessions where we dive into new and exciting ways to pursue a sustainable home. You know, walking around CES, I don't know about you, but I have seen a lot of companies and a lot of booths talking about sustainability, talking about having green products and helping consumers live a more sustainable life. And it's really no surprise, probably, right? This is a growing trend, but you really can't go through your social media feeds without seeing the effects of climate change. I mean, we're right here in Las Vegas, Nevada, in the Colorado River Basin that is experiencing the largest drought in 2,000 years. Meanwhile, up in California is being flooded, right? So we're seeing the effects of climate change everywhere we look. And as we see this continue to grow, demand from consumers are going to continue to grow even more because consumers want to be part of the solution. They want to find ways to reduce their carbon impact. Recently, the administration launched the Inflation Reduction Act, or what we call the IRA sometimes, right? And this is a piece of legislation that is really intended to reduce the cost of doing just that. So many more Americans now can realize their goal of having lower carbon emissions, because essentially the IRA reduces the cost of getting solar, of getting that cool EV that some of us have seen, right? Of getting and upgrading our appliances to be more efficient. And that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm joined by my colleague, Josh Moore. Josh helps run Schneider Electric's solar business here in the United States. He's an expert on rooftop solar, as well as solar technology. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks, April. Great to be here.
So, Josh, let's just dive right in. What is the Inflation Reduction Act?
It's the single largest investment the U.S. has ever made to combat climate change. It's $369 billion that can be used by consumers to reduce their cost of energy. It's going to spur a lot of innovation in energy technology, and it will help reduce and fight social and environmental injustice. So really impressive. Should reduce carbon emissions by 40% by 2030, and pretty much every American can benefit from it.
Wow. So how does what are the certain things that it targets?
A couple big things. So it makes getting solar and storage less expensive by giving you a 30% tax credit. 30% will be a key number. There's a lot of 30% tax credits in this IRA. There's big incentives for EVs. So there's a $7,500 tax credit to get a new electric vehicle. There's a 30% tax credit to get the EV charger to charge that vehicle. And then there's another 30% tax credit to help with home electrification, a variety of different appliances and things, including upgrading the main panel.
Wow. So we can get a discount on solar, get that great EV, and increase the efficiency of the appliances of your home. It sounds a lot like an investment in home electrification. And electrification is essentially the movement away from fossil fuels to electricity, because electricity can't be produced through renewable sources. And when you take electrification and add digitization, here at Schneider, we say that is the most efficient, easiest, most effective way towards sustainability. So tell me a little bit more about some of the benefits beyond just the financial benefits of home electrification.
Yeah, financial is certainly a major one. Not only do you get these upfront tax credits, but by electrifying your home, studies have shown you can reduce the operating costs of your home somewhere between about $1,000 to $2,600 a year for the typical American home. So less expensive on a yearly basis. It's healthier, so it reduces the carbon emissions and other toxic gases that are in your home because you're no longer combusting natural gas to cook. And the studies have seen that about 50,000 Americans go to the ER every year due to some sort of indoor exposure of these toxic chemicals. So really good, much healthier home when you electrify your home. It also helps you reduce your carbon emissions. So by switching from from gas to electric heating, you can reduce your carbon emissions by about 30 or 40%. And finally, all these new electric technologies, they're much easier to digitally connect. So you're able to control those, you get better safety alerts, and just better comfort and convenience in your home when you electrify your home.
Wow, so it sounds like home electrification has some really significant health benefits, financial benefits, as well as benefits for the larger community in terms of sustainability benefits. So let's get into the rebates, though, of how we can actually start on this journey, no matter where we are, right? How can the Americans, how can those of us here in this room, those watching at home, how can they start realizing some of those benefits that you just went through?
Yeah, there's two big categories of incentive that's coming through the IRA. There are rebates, upfront discounts. So that would happen through your state energy office and typically would happen at the point of sale. So you buy that new heat pump technology, you get the discount up front, or maybe it gets mailed to you a few weeks later. Your contractor can typically help you with that. So those are the rebates. Those are geared toward upfront investments for you. And then there's the tax credits. So that would be a discount that would happen at the time when you do your annual tax filing. Great tax credits for solar and storage. Good example, might be someone wants to add solar, a battery, and an EV charger for their home. Might cost you around $30,000 for a typical American home. You're getting 30% off of that on your taxes. So $9,000 savings on a $30,000 item is a pretty good way to get started.
Wow, it's a really good way to get started in terms of, and really help anyone start their journey or continue their journey reducing our carbon impact. What if I wanted to get one of those great new EVs that we saw and upgrade to one of the really cool refrigerators and then start powering it all from solar all at once? Maybe I want to do it all at the same time. Can I do that? Can I get all the incentives at once? Tell me a little bit more about some of the limits of the Inflation Reduction Act.
Yeah, great question. So certainly you can do all those things. The $369 billion I mentioned earlier is divided into several different programs. Some of those programs have individual caps, but there's no restriction from mixing and matching and combining as many programs as you want. So wherever you are in your electrification journey, you can combine those incentives to help reduce your overall costs. Some of those incentive or rebate programs would be the homes or the HEEHRA rebate programs. Those are really targeted for low and moderate income homeowners. So a chance for them to upgrade their technology in their home. If you're low income, you get 100% of the benefit. If you're in the moderate income category, you get about 50% of the benefit. And if you're high income, well, hopefully you have enough money you can convert to these technologies on your own. The HEEHRA is capped at $14,000 a year, which is a pretty high cap. So if you're low and moderate income, you can buy really several new technologies in 1 year and get up to $14,000 back from the federal government. So that was great. And then, it's good to pay attention to the EV credits. Some of those have caps and limitations also on income as well as the price of the vehicle. So, check with your automotive manufacturer to make sure you're getting the most rebate you can.
Wow. I didn't realize $14,000. That's, I'll take that. I'll take that any day. It's funny. I was reading an article from our CEO of North America, Nick Clayton. She called the IRA game-changing investment in America's clean energy future. And when you think about the current situation that we all live in, right? Inflation, climate crisis, it really could be the turning point to really make the United States a sustainability leader, right? And accelerate us on our path to net zero. It's really exciting. Let's talk a little bit then, let's shift gears a little bit. Talk to us a little bit about how these rebates relate to what we're showing here in our booth here at Schneider Electric and our Schneider Home offering. How can Schneider help Americans, help all of us take advantage of the IRA? Yeah,
it is definitely a game-changing incentive package, and we've got a game-changing product. So let's start with the electrical panel. We just launched our Schneider Pulse panel. So that's your main electrical panel in your home, and we've taken that from being an analog device that doesn't do a whole lot other than create protection for your circuits to adding intelligence. You can now control each individual circuit. You get information about what's happening in your home at the circuit level, so you know how much energy you're using in your devices. And within that device, we also have our Wiser Energy enabled. And so in our Schneider Home app, you can see what's going on. You can get insights into how you can reduce your energy usage and save money. We typically see homeowners are saving 20 to 40% based on those insights that we provide. It's a great panel. It combines 6 functions in one and is really a foundation for the electrification journey. It'll help you upgrade to an EV, be ready for solar, be ready for a battery. So wherever you are on that electrification journey, it's a great place to start with the panel.
And how do the rebates impact for the final cost of something like our smart electrical panel, Schneider?
Yeah, there's one rebate that's $4,000 for upgrading your electrical panel. You can also combine that if it's part of a solar project, you could get the 30% credit as well. So lots of opportunities to save on the upfront cost of that electrical panel.
I love that. Thanks so much, Josh, for being here. As we think about this growing demand that I started this talk with from consumers, fueled by these new rebates from the government to help accelerate us and our homes, we can all take a commitment, make a commitment to sustainability. I encourage all of you to join us, so many of your peers here, and sign your commitment here on our little always on button. And I want to thank you. Thank you all for joining us today. Thank you for joining us at home. To learn more about what you've seen here, go to schneiderhome.com and be sure to take a chance and go through the booth and learn more about our new Schneider Electric products. Thanks so much.